it says we're in part 3 of our Microsoft Word workshop, and this is the last session of part 3 and also the last session of our workshop. So I hope you enjoyed this workshop and enjoy this last session. So in this session, as I said in my in using the editor in the previous session, is you want to hand in a good document, a document that has been reviewed, a document that has good spacing, that the grammar and the spelling has been checked. You want to make sure that you hand in a good document for review, whether it is to your supervisor or the final document that you hand in for examination. So in this thing, it is just one or two things that I've picked up that makes it a little bit easier to check everything in your document. And the first one in that is using, or maybe if you've deleted and your cross-references is not correct anymore. So let's say for some reason we want to take out this figure 1.0. Remember, we've got as illustrated in figure 1.2, we've got a reference, we've got a cross-reference to this figure, but now something in your research has changed and you say, yeah, but this figure just doesn't make sense in my document anymore. Or maybe what you want to do is you want to change this figure, but then the problem is also your caption will change. The bottom line is something has changed with this figure, and whether it has been replaced or it's no longer there, the problem is you have actually lost your cross-reference. Now remember what we said. If I select everything in my document, Control A, everything is selected, right click and I say update field, just because now it's also updating the tables. So let's just do that. And you will see there it is now as illustrated in, and this has just disappeared. So in the previous Word, what has happened, in the previous Word, this has shown that figure 1.2 has now been deleted. In the previous Word, this field change will just have given an error. So Microsoft Word has actually updated their document to no longer say that there's a problem, but it is it now shows that it's unknown, the field code has changed. So you want to check your changes and review all your markup and make sure that this is now corrected, because we no longer refer to this figure below. We just say I wondered, so we can take that sentence out completely because that is no longer part of our document. And in that way you can say we'll just accept this, accept that, and accept that, and it will start with I have wandered into it at noontime when, or blah blah blah, and then that takes out this figure that no longer exists completely. So let's go back to our no markup, and then your document will be updated. So the other illustration I wanted to show you was in this chapter. So let's say we've got as summarized in table 2.1 below, and I feel that this table should actually be on the next page. Now usually what you would do is you will put your cursor right next to that table and you'll go and write enter, click 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 click, and you'll just enter it and put that onto the next page. Or maybe what you will do is you'll do the insert layout and insert the page break there, and that will put the table onto the next page. So when we update this now and we select update field, the problem is that this becomes part of, now remember, table 2.1, when it updates that whole reference right there, because we've put in our spacing before table 2.1, this assumes that spacing must also be before table 2.1. So we don't want that. We don't want that at all, because you see that changes everything in that sentence at all. So to avoid that, what we will do is, instead of entering our spaces and everything like that before table 2.1, now see everything is corrected again. So if I say update field, That is still a problem though. That was because we did that. So let's do that. So update field. You see now everything is corrected. Okay, so because we've entered previously, I started my first enter with my cursor right next to table, and you see how it changed everything in that sentence. So now you know where that is coming from. So if I wanted to add that space, we'll go to before table 2.1, and I'll just go right there. You can either press enter, 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 or you can say insert layout, insert your page break. And what will happen is if you update this and say update field, everything will be okay and everything will stay exactly the way that it should be. Okay, so that is two basic things that you can check in your document just to fix your spacing. I'll just bring this back to where we want that, when you want it just like that. And then my final word is just use your Control A. That will select everything just before you hand in your final document, your final review, your final accept, your final changes, and just go like that. You say update field, and because what will happen, it will also update your table of contents, update the entire table, update the entire table, update the entire table. The reason for that is if you've deleted a heading, then it will only update the page number. So if you've, we want the whole table to be updated every time, for in case any of the headings or any of the other information in your document has changed. Right, so this was a relatively short session. In this workshop we have done basically, it was up in 3 parts, and we've basically set up the document, we added some content to the document, and we've checked the document, and by now your document should be in pretty good shape in order to be handed in to your supervisor or for examination. I hope you enjoyed the workshop, and have a good day. Thank you.